I was promoted from preventive maintenance to an apprentice. I was supposed to get 2 weeks of training under every mechanic in the shop. On my third day of training, I was assigned to a mechanic that didn't do calls. He was a weird guy that would sing "They're coming to take me away, haha." I didn't mind the guy, I thought he was funny. He tried convincing our manager that I had all the training I needed. I was put on the spot and said no, I could use a few more days. The mechanic sighed and said, "Okay, follow me." He got our first call, and we went to the room. I noticed he started to get tense and stopped kidding around. We reached the guest's room, and before we knocked on the door, I said, "I'll just stand back and watch." The mechanic smirked and knocked on the door. We entered the room, and he went to work. The mechanic fixed the problem, and the guest asked who the young man was standing behind him. The mechanic looked at the guest and said, "You can see him too." The guest immediately started to sob. The mechanic apologized by saying, "No, miss, he's a real person. I was just kidding around, please stop crying." She hugged the mechanic and said she thought she was losing her mind. The mechanic held her and looked at me and said not a word. I held my hands in the air and mouthed "No problem." He calmed her down and we left the room. As soon as the door closed, I asked if I could expect people that every time I get a call. He said, "Now do you see why I hate doing calls? People are crazy." We went to our manager and warned her that she might be getting a complaint. She asked what kind of complaint. The mechanic said, "An I see dead people complaint." She rolled her eyes and said again. I asked how often the mechanic gets complaints like that. She said there's a reason he doesn't do calls or deal with people. That was my training for the day. Don't make guests cry. The mechanic went back to doing what he normally did every day. I did my best on guest calls.
I miss you, MH. I hope life is beautiful all the time.
Smash that like button for me.